you speak up about anything you can see? There's a lot of movement going on at the moment around Peter's mouth. Just saw a flash around his mouth.
I'm seeing like lots of different facial changes.
It's changing, isn't it?
And his eyebrows got really bushy.
It's got a flesh under the rest of the cheek. Yeah, his face is getting more full.
Is there anybody there?
Yes, yeah.
Good evening.
Good evening.
It's better. I can hear you now. The louder you are, the louder I am.
We can hear you. What's your name?
My name is Bernard.
Nice to meet you.
Shall we have a look at you then? So, we've seen you before, haven't we?
Yes, you have.
We do like the opportunity to look through your funny human eyes, you know. You know, my dear.
Hello.
Nah, remember you. For those that have not met me before, I represent a collective group of spirits that work with this channel. We like to come through and show off and answer questions for you. So I hope you've all thought of some really difficult questions for me. That was a resounding no, wasn't it? And you hear my voice change occasionally as various different ones of us jump to the front. With somewhat of a bubble, you might say. Imagine a bubble that contains many of us within it. We sort of rotate round inside the bubble. We're all blended together.
I have a question.
Yes.
Why is it that some people do not communicate with mediums and give messages? Is it because do they stay in the spirit world, or have they gone somewhere else?
Well, over what time period do you refer when you say do not come and give messages through mediums? Do you mean why is it difficult for certain spirits to communicate?
Yes, some do and some don't.
It depends on a number of factors. Immediately after you pass, you go to sort of a holding tank, for want of a better phrase, where you work through the issues and the various lessons and things that you learned on this existence, so that you may move on. You live your life through all the eyes of those around you, so you truly see yourself as others see you. And you re-experience all the things that have happened to you and that you have caused to others, but through the others' pair of eyes, so that you may truly know the effect you have had. Does that make sense to you? So as you're in this holding tank, you rerun your life, but in a much more deep and meaningful way. And that takes some time for you to process. So if you're in the, I'll call it the holding tank for ease. If you're in the holding tank, then you may not find it easy to go and communicate with others, for you're still under examination.
Okay.
But that is one reason why you might find it difficult. Of course, you could have been reborn again into another existence. So you do not have the capacity to communicate at that exact moment. Which brings me on to another interesting subject. Shall we discuss further?
Yes.
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 Okay, and do throw questions at me anytime you like, you know. Well, the interesting subject is how many existences can you coexist in simultaneously? Now, I know some of you have heard this answer before, but for those that haven't, it may be beneficial, so please bear with me. For your higher self, as you call it, you are but a fraction of your higher self. Your existence here is somewhat detached until you go into your meditative state, or into your sleep-like state when you may reconnect. But you have agreed to come here as a detached being. But there are other versions of you, you see. Other versions of you that coexist in different time zones, in different dimensions, simultaneously. But one of the questions we are often asked is, how quickly can we be reborn? And the answer is, when you're ready. It depends on your existence here in this lifetime. Or if you've not got on very well and maybe took your own life, for example. As I know, one or two of you know certain individuals who have done that. Those people must come back again. Start again and run the same lifetime in the same time zone. You mentioned earlier about time. Time is not linear as you know it. It is only linear as you age, for aging is your only measurement of time. And if you notice how time gets faster as you get older.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wicked and cruel, that, isn't it? But it doesn't really. For you control your time, it is only your attention span that changes. For you forget all the little things. When you're a child, you take in so much more data that time seems to slow for you. And as you become an adult and more mature, you ignore all the little things and just focus on the bigger lumps. So time appears to go faster. It does not really. For your time is your master. You can master your own time. You should try an experiment to slow your time down. And you will understand what I mean. Why don't you try tomorrow to consciously slow your time down? I think you have an expression which is, a watched kettle never boils. Are you familiar with this expression?
Yes.
What do you think that means? For is it not true, if you are watching every little tiny second, it seems to take an age?
Yes.
So time is relative to your attention span. So try an experiment tomorrow where you consciously slow time down by becoming aware of every second, every sound. Engage all your senses and pay attention. And you will feel that time has slowed down. Would you do that for me?
We will.
Yes.
I digress from your question, my dear, and your subject, which is, why don't spirits immediately pop back in when you wish to speak with them? But they're busy too, you see. Sometimes we may pop in with just a thought. We hear your thought a bit like a telephone call, where we immediately have thought, but of course we have no time, as you understand it, for we have no material body. You gauge your time by the degeneration of yours. We have no body and we do not degenerate in the way that you do. And of course it is not you, it is only your exterior, your meat suit, if you like, that degenerates. So we hear your voice, we hear your call, but we cannot always answer, for we are learning things too. We are on various journeys and discoveries, and we meet up minds with other like-minded individuals in groups that we form to expand their consciousness. Though it is not always convenient, shall we say, even though we can bilocate, we sometimes need all our attention in one place. Other times there were reasons why a spirit may not come back to see you, for they know it would upset you too much. Even though you may think you desperately want to speak with a lost loved one. Sometimes the emotional effect could be too great for you and may set you back several days or weeks. There are a multitude of reasons. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, it does, thank you.
Never simple, is it?
No.
Never give you a straightforward yes or no. Where would be the fun in that?
So in this holding area, is this where natural law takes place, in effect? God's law?
Well, that is an interesting. First you must define what you mean by natural law and God's law.
That everything we do, everything has a reaction, and that we, obviously on the earth we have our own criminal law, but in the spirit world there's God's law, where everything will come back on us.
Are you judged? Is that what you're
Not
really
judged,
asking?
but we have to realise our mistakes.
Yes, we have to see ourselves. We have to self-examine. We have to understand the cause and effects of our actions and the actions of those upon us. But you often choose suffering in your existence to gain wisdom and knowledge, sometimes for the next existence.
And are there some who don't accept what they may have done?
They all will accept or they do not move forward. They will remain there until they do.
May I ask a question?
Yes, of course.
Following on of my last meeting from you, I had asked you how it was that I was able to move through matter. And following on from that, can I ask, what is the purpose for my abilities to move backwards and forwards through time?
It is your role you have chosen. But there is a bigger picture unfolding for you, my dear. Part of the sea change of collective consciousness, where your vibrational energy is very high. And the higher you vibrate, the more people you can affect around you as you send your thoughts out. Your ability to move back and forwards through time and to see visions and experience feelings of different time zones is somewhat unusual, is it not? And your ability to do this stands you in good stead, for your wisdom and knowledge then comes forward as proof and evidence. There are those you will meet in the not too distant future who will need this verification from you.
Thank you.
It is also for your belief structure. Your self-belief changes your resonant frequency. For you are all vibrational creatures. The higher you vibrate, the higher you evolve spiritually. The reason you cannot see the spirit world around you most of the time is because it is vibrating at too high a frequency for you. The same with lower realms, they are vibrating at too low a frequency for you. So you cannot see them either. Hence why mediums who are able to increase their frequency through conscious thought can then start to see and glimpse the other dimension.
Can I ask why some people get on with trance and some people don't.
Yes, you may ask that question, and it is a good question. Why cannot everyone be a wonderful trance medium? It is a very good question, and the answer again is in the resonant frequency of the person. It is all related, you see.
Okay.
It is a combination between belief, combination between your agreement of what you do before you came here, and your involvement.
Right.
It has nothing to do with your physical body. Because that was your next question. It is to do with your spiritual vibration.
Right.
And that is also to do with your involvement and the lessons you have learned.
Okay, thank you.
Do children, you talk about that, it depends with our spiritual evolution and our vibration, whether we can, how we connect with spirit. So children can often see spirits, so are they more spiritually evolved? Do we lose that as we get older?
Yes, you become tainted by your world, do you not? You are constantly told as a child, you cannot do this, you cannot do that, you must do this, you must do that. Your peers will laugh at you if you say you see a spirit walking across the room. You will be mocked, so you shut it off. Your environment is not conducive at this moment, although of course it is changing. As collective consciousness and the world begins to awaken now.
So as humans, why do we always err on the negative rather than the positive?
It is a learned behavior. It is instilled by your parents. Each generation must change. For their generations, your parents' generations, look how austere they were.
So what's our ultimate purpose here?
Your ultimate purpose in your lifetime of mankind.
Both?
Well, your ultimate mankind purpose is to reach utopia. Is to reach a marvelous paradise world where you use your minds to create your realities and enjoy your existences. Enjoy all the pleasures of the physical existence without the pain and the fears. And to a degree that is also your personal goals. But there is always pain in your journey, is there not? For you wish to experience both sides of the coin.
Yes, that's true.
You wish to experience diversity.
Your thoughts on pain, where when people are suffering with pain and then ready to make the transition and they are seeing spirit around them and talking to them.
Yes.
Likewise, when a person suffers terrible in pain, can they go backwards into life of what it was like in bygone years?
Could you break that into one question at a time for me, please?
Let's say that again. Okay, with pain, is it possible that a person can go back in years of bygone days with the pain that they suffer? And that's one question.
So shall we just clarify that? What do you mean by going backwards in years?
Going backwards in bygone days.
So they suffer no more?
What before the pain?
Do you mean when they are reincarnated?
No, when a person
What do you mean within their mind?
Yeah, when they're suffering with pain, so much pain, is it possible for them to go back years ago
Yes.
of the younger days and to see things as it was in the younger days?
Yes, of course. It is all stored within your mind. So they are retaining a memory, of course, is what you're actually referring to, is it not? Or are you actually going back before they were born to a previous existence?
No, I'm going back in the same lifetime.
For both are true.
Okay.
Yes, of course, everything is stored in your mind. And if you're in a painful place in your mind, you may move away from that and regress. This to us is normal. You may move wherever you wish to within your mind space and the lessons you have learned. And your second question?
No, well, it wasn't really a question. It was just when people are suffering and they're ready to make the transitions and they're seeing their loved ones around them, in front of them, and communicating with them.
Yes. But again, their vibrational energy changes as they lose their grip on their body, as it starts to detach. They start to vibrate at a higher frequency, hence they are able to see. Which is related to the answer earlier, yes.
May I ask a very different question?
Yes.
At the moment with science and the things that scientists are looking into with energy, the fact that we are pushing the boundaries with space travel, and throughout the years many people have reported seeing or experiencing things that may be not of this earth or potentially not of this time.
Yes.
We always look to our interactions within our own physical world and the world of spirit. But recently the Pope has stated that if aliens arrive on Earth, he will welcome them into the Catholic Church. And many mediums who I know personally have also reported, when in a meditative state, that they seem to be experiencing other beings. Could you shed any light on that?
Yes. I am being counselled. 1 second. Okay. There are many alien beings already amongst you. This may be alarming for you to hear, or not, as the case may be. We were amused at the Pope trying to buy more seats. Well, yes, there are every alien species, as you may call them, helping with your collective consciousness shift.
Does this mean there is a unison beyond this planet?
There are several forces in play, I am allowed to tell you. You are having an eye kept on you, shall we say, helping you along. But do not forget your spirit, when it leaves your human form, may reincarnate in other dimensions also, in other beings also. Your spirit is spirit. Collectively, your spirit is God. Do you think alien forms to you are not God? Do you think spirit in animals are not God? There is no difference. You are all collectively God. I say you, I include myself. But we are no different. We are all parts of the whole, irrespective of race, culture, creed, species. Your life force within you is God. Those amuses us with your religion, where you say you are created in God's image, and you assume that means physically to look at. So God was this man with blonde hair and a beard, about 5'7". I don't think so. It means you are created with his equal power to create, to manifest your desires through your thought processes. That is the image you are created in, and this is the playground you exist in.
During our lifetime, will we be aware of those aliens around us?
That I am not allowed to tell you.
What's their purpose of being here?
To help you.
To help us in what respect?
To help you move forward, to progress, to shift your collective consciousness before you destroy your planet.
So to save our planet?
Partially, yes.
I have a question. Who controls the world?
Who controls the world? In what sense?
Who's in control?
Of what?
Us. Who is trying to control us?
You are trying to control you. If you allow others to control you, that is your choice. But no one controls another without their consent. If you refer to money and power and politics, that is another story.
What's your thoughts and ideas, please, on Stonehenge?
Is an interesting anomaly, isn't it? And there are many such Stonehenges dotted across your planet.
Sorry?
There are many such Stonehenges dotted across your planet.
Mm-hmm.
And your conundrum is, how did these rocks get there? How were they moved and put on top of each other? And your suspicion is there was alien intervention. And you would not be far off the truth.
So what is their purpose then?
Their purpose was twofold. One as a landing site, a beacon, a runway if you like. Two, they are on your energetic ley lines. And they are also places of worship with a very lawless society running amok. They needed to understand a higher power and a higher force to be accountable. Early steps, if you like.
Is it true that it's a gateway down to the iron crystal?
No.
Is it the case that years ago that we were more in touch with energy and that we used sound, energy and vibration to lift very heavy objects?
Yes, you are much more in touch with different elements of your mind, but only in certain cultures and civilizations, not globally. Not all of mankind, only evolved races within it.
So is it not, in a way, we've gone backwards by not using those things?
Yes and no. Yes, there is a mass population that will always try and destroy those that others have, for they do not like an unequal playing field. So you have gone forward in raising global awareness, even though you have gone backwards in destroying a fraction of that global experience.
From your realm, do you actively look at the path that we take as individuals?
Your guide does, yes. Your guides are with you to steer you along your individual paths, but your paths you have chosen before you come here. You have said everything that will happen to you in your course, good and bad.
Can I ask a question? To go back to Stonehenge again, why did it cease then with the aliens of Canaan?
Why are they not popping down every Saturday for a cup of tea? Is that what you're asking me? It is because it has served its purpose in creating awareness of a higher power and a higher force. It is an anomaly that your people cannot explain, and therefore they look to the stars, do they not?
Yes.
They look up to a higher power,
We like mystique.
a superior intelligence to themselves, and that creates self-awareness and self-examination.
Can you share some of our... we talked earlier, Paul mentioned about our individual paths. Can you actually share some of that information for people here, as individuals, what their paths are? Or what they may need to learn?
Or avoid?
Okay?
Or avoid?
Because we hear all the time that we've chosen our path before we come, but I know people who've been searching all their path, they say they've been searching for their path, they don't know what they need to do, and then they are on their deathbed, passing to spirit, and they still feel like that.
Yes, they still feel like they haven't learned their lesson.
Yes.
They still feel they were floundering around, uncertain of what they're supposed to achieve.
Yes.
Missing the very point of enjoying the journey. Searching so hard for the answer. Searching so hard to understand your life's purpose that you completely miss the fact that your purpose is to enjoy the journey and not worry about the path for the path you have already set.
Yes.
So it is to live life without fear. It is to trust you are on the perfect path and that everything is happening exactly as it should.
And is it, I've also heard through other guides that it's about to learn compassion, that we should have compassion for our fellow humans.
You should have compassion, but that is not a specific thing you would come here to learn as a lesson as such. It is far more complicated than that.
Okay.
It is multifaceted. It is not individual qualities such as compassion, love, hate, that sort of thing. It is a multitude of things. For your involvement, sometimes it is correcting something that you failed in a previous existence. I say failed loosely. Did not excel at, might be a better way of putting it.
Can I ask a question? What did you do when you walked the earth here? And do you look back with regret?
Could you say the first bit again, please?
Say,
What did you do when you were here on the earth plane?
Me personally,
Yes. And do you look back with any regrets?
I've been on the earth plane many times, and that's a very long, complicated answer. Do I look back with regrets? No. Because even when you think you may have failed all your lessons, you have still learned many things. It is appreciating the values of the smaller things, the love you may give a child, for example, and the effect on that child going forwards can be untold, and you will not see that until you are sat on the other side, looking back to reflect.
we've all got favourite memories, so what was your favourite life?
My favourite life, probably when I was a poor woman in the Roman times, begging in the streets.
Have you got any messages for anyone here tonight?
Well, I'm just surprised you didn't ask me more about the Roman times.
I was just visualising that, to be honest with you.
Why was that your best life?
I'm glad you asked me that question. I thought you never would.
He was waiting for that. He was waiting.
Because of the diversity and the simplicity. But all you ever had to think about was food. There were no other complications. There was no jealousy, no rivalry, no politics. It was just staying alive when you have not eaten for a long time. The joy you will experience when you eat after not eating for 5 days will taste like heaven itself. When you are rich and you eat rich foods and steaks and caviars and fine wines all day, every day, they all become bland and boring. So contrast and diversity is why I enjoyed that existence.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
We talked about the aliens that want to help us. How many different species are there?
There are far more than you know. Many of your fellow man report 5 different species of aliens here, but there are far more.
Are there any in this room?
If you don't know, you are.
Oh, right there.
Can I ask another question?
Yes.
I work as a medium, and I wonder, could you explain when the soul leaves the physical body, is it the sense of complete relief and euphoria for the soul as the soul passes into the next realm? Is that correct?
It can be, yes. It can also be blind terror. For it depends on the involvement of the individual. And it depends on how experienced and familiar they are with the journey. For those who have not incarnated many times before, there will be a lot of anxiety, panic and fear as they transition, but it will ultimately end in euphoria.
Okay.
It will end in a wonderful feeling of bliss as they start to remember and realize they are home, and they reconnect with their soul group, I shall call them,
Yes.
which is distinctly different to their family.
Well, thank you.
Their family may be there to welcome them when they arrive home, but it is not their friends in the same way.
I was going to ask about those who have left this world, yet to join the spirit world, those who are in between the two worlds, that the help that they get from the healers on the other side. But what more can people do here on the other plane for them?
Once they have ceased to exist here, do you mean?
Yes.
There is nothing you can do. They are on a journey. It is like a magnetic force dragging them along into the next realm. Once they have gone into the light, they are off on their journey, pulled along by an invisible force. You can, of course, refuse to go if you wish to stay, if you feel you are tragically lost, if you have so much love for your partner that you wish to stay around them, if you have so much anger and hatred you wish to stay because you are bitter and angry and wish to see the people, the perpetrators, suffer, you may stay.
Yes.
You may stay if you wish to visit the 7 wonders of the world. There are many reasons why you choose to stay. You may wish to stay because your religious beliefs tell you you are not worthy to go to the other side, or you have committed great crimes and therefore you must go to hell and burn in flames before you can go. There are many reasons why you do not transition straight away.
So in your collective bubble, how many spirits are in your collective bubble, may I ask?
We have not counted them, for it shifts all the time.
Okay. So there's not a certain amount then, at least?
Thousands.
Oh, okay. Big bubble.
Yes. Okay. We're going to change now.
I've seen quite a few flashes, like orbs. I don't know if anyone else has. Go back in the cabinet.
I see lights around Peter's face.
Yeah,
Tiny ones.
Yeah.
little tiny flashes.
Oh, yeah.
Lights under his chin.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Down
the
the side
forehead.
of his head.
I think when people.
And when he was talking earlier, there was a great big like wave of something, sort of almost like a mist coming down.
He looks fuller in the face and younger,
Mm.
clean shaven.
Blonde head.
Yeah. And his ears are all pointy.
There's a clover in his chin.
Oh, yeah, you get that.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's some
Few different points.
Just his light
And
down a
then
bit.
there's many chance.
So look at that. You see his face change.
His face is changing.
And there's something above his head, like real energy building up there.
And if you look at his face, his hands look glowing, but you need to look at his face to see glowing hands.
I know. That's what sometimes his face disappears.
Yeah.
Oh, I can see lots of orbs whizzing around.
looks flashing.
They keep flashing across his front.
Yeah.
He looks alien now to me.
Yeah.
And I would say 3 different aliens, and then he's lit up now. His face is
It's like he's in a
illuminated.
It's just disappeared.
Like he's in a bubble, and the bubble keeps moving, like in and out.
I feel I can see spirit eyes.
Oh, I can see, look at that. He squints.
Flashing.
See slightly, oh yeah, look, can you see that? Really different transition. It's a young guy coming through.
Yeah. That's what I'm looking at now.
His moustache has totally disappeared.
When I see those eyes, it's like they're looking straight at me. It's like he's looking into me.
There's a face manifesting on top of
His hands are
Yes,
glowing.
it's a
his
face
hands are-
manifesting, yes.
Yeah.
His hands are green.
There's a face that's manifesting on top of his face. But it's
What
like
you saying, Claire?
Yeah,
It's like a mask.
I don't know.
Here's a
I can see
glowing.
the eyes, Melanie.
His ears are glowing.
And I feel that when we talk about it, the more it will come forward.
Exactly, the more we talk about it,
Louder.
reinforces
Can you talk then instead of whisper so those who's got problems with hearing can hear?
Yes.
You can see his ears glowing red.
Someone's talking about it.
Oh, somebody
He
else is
looks
coming
really
through.
young,
It's like he's got a,
like a quiff.
yeah, quid, yeah, spawn, quiff.
Yeah, quick, yeah.
Oh, just that mouse just
Wow.
really tender, doesn't it?
Yeah, moustache is gone.
Wow.
Nice.
Hello.
I see the face of a young man.
Yeah, I can see a young
Completely.
man.
That's incredible.
That is incredible.
Can you see the glasses on there?
I can see your eyes.
We can see your
Two
face.
faces.
Can you see the new face?
Yeah.
Gosh, his face changed.
His ears are moving.
He's just disappeared.
Yeah. It's like that.
Cool. I'm seeing like 3 or 4 different shapes.
Amazing.
You know those the kids told me when you press the button.
Yeah,
different ones,
that's what I
press
was
the button, different
thinking.
one. It's like that. It's like that.
And every time somebody new comes in, his hands really glow.
Can everybody totally see a different face? Young man.
Dark hair.
Yeah.
Just a spirit eyes.
Masculine, haven't they? I haven't seen a feminine face yet.
No.
Clean shaven.
Yeah.
I can see spirit eyes. Clear.
Yes.
Changed it.
Yeah, I thought I had big glasses then.
Yeah, I can see that earlier.
And many different faces.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a collective.
Glasses are back.
Yeah.
That's why we see so many of them now.
Yes.
You stop seeing me pick them up.
Still seeing a lot of white flashes.
Especially over this side.
At times he just disappears completely and his hands are just there.
Mm,
That's the face there.
He's moving his hand.
I've seen
Yeah.
He's moving his
Look
hand.
at his hand now, you see. But when he was speaking before, I noticed his hand almost looked non-human.
Really?
Like into two. It's like that.
Yeah.
His hand, his hand
Look at
looks
his
like
hands
a
now.
lizard's.
What can you see with his hands then?
Okay.
That is incredible.
On one hand you can see fingers there on his hand.
It's like
Yeah,
web,
the
web
hands,
fingers.
yeah.
Web fingers.
Ah,
That is incredible.
You know, like what he's doing now.
got 3 fingers.
From his little
I
finger
just can't see
to
from
his
his comments.
next
It was
one.
like he's putting the bees
These
out.
two look almost as one.
Yeah. The flash on the finger then below on the right there. Another one.
Hello.
Welcome, he's wanting to speak.
Hello.
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 Claire.
Claire. It's you.
Claire.
Is it okay to come up?
Yes.
I will approach slowly. Gosh, what energy. Oh, wow. Hello. Can I hold your hand? Is it okay? Oh. Hello. Is it okay to ask who you are?
Yes, I wish to put my hand on your back first.
Oh wow, thank you. Thank you. It's exactly the spot that I've got a big problem with. Wow. Gosh. That's amazing. It's like he's manoeuvring something. It doesn't hurt. And I've got to say, he's working on the exact spot where there's a problem. There's actual like physical manipulation onto that bit that's very sore. Now sort of going up my spine, trying to realign my spine. And going on to the other side of my hip, which is also sore.
So you grow iliac.
Yes, thank you. I wasn't sure. I felt it was the Criklade. I'm very grateful.
Is it out again?
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Manners. We just have 5 minutes left.
Strange again.
Yeah.
Is it too late to ask for one more question?
Just see what's coming through.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
Nice to see you.
Yes, yes.
Hello, welcome.
What's your name?
Brilliant.
Herbert. Herbert.
Hello, Herbert.
Hello, Herbert.
Did you enjoy yourselves?
We
Yes.
have.
Yes, we will.
Oh,
Yes. And we hope the lady's back gets better.
oh, bless you, thank you.
Tomorrow. That's not a song. Tomorrow you're back.
Yes.
We'll be much better.
Oh, wow. I'm very grateful, thank you.
We've had a wonderful evening, Herbert.
Yes. He hasn't worked for a while, has he?
No.
No, lazy boy.
Keep telling him.
Yes. Make him work more. Yes. No. He needed a rest.
Yes.
Time to get going again.
Good.
Lots to do.
Herbert, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Our mothers, when they're here, would always advise us. Is there anything that you'd like to advise us on before we part our ways this evening?
Yes, I would. Actually, yes. Always go with love in your heart, and never worry. Never worry about what's going to happen. Because if you worry, then you make it worse.
Thank you.
Just you are part of God. And you'll always be looked at. And it's time to say God bless and good night.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.
You ready for a question, Peter?
Ready for a pint?
I'm asking what you want.
Sorry, oh, it was pint.
How come when we do it, we're freezing cold and yet you're boiling hot?
I don't know.
Is it you've got a higher energy coming through?
I don't know. It always temperature always goes off the scale.
Yeah, I know you get hot, yeah.
Is that like when mediums work on platform? They're always hot. And
I don't know. Should have asked him. Save that for next time, eh?
Peter, how long does it take you to properly recover?
About an hour.
Yeah. Does it make you feel drained or like you've been to a party?
It's kind of like waking up the next day and you're not quite awake.
Yeah.
So I don't feel drained or boosted particularly.
No.
Just giddy,
Not
just
there.
kind of not like slightly out of phase with myself.
Yeah.
Like not quite in my body.
That's how I was feeling like that.
Yeah.
do you know all the time you that was happening? Oh, I could smell around here was pipe. Pipe
tobacco.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't know why.
I get that in my house quite a lot as well.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
So that's got to do with one of your workers then?
Yeah, I think so.
Wow.
And my grandfather smoked a pipe as well.
Okay.
Right.
It's very strong.
My grandparents on my mother's side were physical trance mediums.
Okay.
And they both pop in to help.
Mhm. So they let them know that the presence is here.
So yeah, my grandmother mainly.
Thank you though, Peter.
Yes,
Yeah,
very much.
Thank you.
I think everyone's had a good day and a good evening.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
I should enjoy the day.
Yeah,
Thank you, Melanie, as well, for sorting it out.
All right, and yeah, we'll be in touch again. So
We
keep
still
watching the
don't know-
B group. There'll be other things coming.
we still don't know how many aliens are in here. Could you get an answer?
Can't tell us everything, can they? There's nothing left to find out.
We'll keep asking, I'm all off, except for one of them.
Yeah.
You held your hand up at one point, and your hand looked just like a lizard's foot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the illuminated?
We talked about that.
Is that the illuminated?
Yeah.
The hybrid.
It must be.
Your face really materialised. The most
It
I've
was
seen it,
amazing.
because I've seen you in trance a lot,
Yeah.
and it really did materialise. I thought it was quite amazing personally.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you did the energy ball, a bit like
Yeah.
Erin.
Did I?
You'd be pleased to know you actually got younger ones.
Yeah, you did. And you went quick.
There is a downside, you got older as well.
I've got to say that's the best I've ever seen, because there were so many different faces that presented and changed and changed. It was
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah.
But you did as well.
And the other thing is
I'd
you
love to know where your
You had
glasses
lights.
came from, because I came your glasses.
That's the best I've ever seen. I
Yeah,
thought it was
lights.
fantastic.
Yeah, I did.
lighting up different bits, like under your
Yeah.
chin and then the back of
On
your head.
here, on the head, twice.
Round your collar, lit up too.
Yeah.
And you two had about 3 alien sort of different faces at one point.
And your glasses.
Yeah.
The aliens didn't have the glass.
There was a message coming through for Ron as well.
Anybody here?
Message for Ron.
Yeah, there was a message for Ron from your grandmother,
Okay.
who's going to be working with you.
Okay.
She showed me quite a matriarchal lady, comfortably built, shall I say.
Okay. I can't remember them at all.
Okay, well she's on the same wavelength as you. She's going to be working closely with you
Okay.
as you develop trance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
So that's the second person who's told you that.